Okay, so to start, since we already have a history wherein we discussed the 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, and 5G, let's first look into this 3GPP organization or the third generation partnership project. So this 3GPP is an important organization because they are in charge of all the cellular technology standards and specifications. So originally they started when they were formed in 1998 to develop the technical specifications and reports for UMTS. So UMTS is Universal Mobile Telecommunication Service. This was the 3G standard that we had. And there were discussions across different partners from different organizations like in Japan, North America, China, Europe, South Korea, Japan, and India. So mostly they started as the key player or the main driver for the third generation cellular technology, but eventually they became the organization that developed, maintain the technical specifications, not only for 3G, but also for 2G and then 4G, 5G, and also even in 6G. So they already have some specifications in place towards the 2030 6G standard. Okay, so these are different organizations in different countries and territories, and their website is found in this link below. Okay, so how does this relate to Open RAN? Okay, so first of all, 3GPP is the one in charge of the standards, the reports, and things like that. So they have this basic design of what a telco is. So it can be basically separated like this. There is a core network, of course, and then we have the backhaul connecting the core network towards the radio access network. So when we say the radio access network, that is composed of the centralized unit, so the CU, the DU, which is distributed unit, the radio unit, RU. So all these three compose the radio access networks, and each of them have different functionalities depending on the mobile network's specification or deployment case. Okay, so there are just other terminologies like the mid-haul. This just defines the interface between the centralized unit and distributed unit, and front haul, the interface between distributed unit and radio unit. Okay, so what each of these functions depend on the uh, applied RAN protocol, because there is a RAN protocol stack that covers the OSI layers 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so this is the 3GPP design and how will ORAN come into play. Basically, they will introduce new components and they ensure that all the components before the CU, DU, RU, including the mid-haul, front haul, should be open. That means the hardware is commercial off-the-shelf servers, and then the software are virtualized, as in virtualized network functions, running on the COTS server. And then also an important thing in the openness is that the interfaces connecting these components should also be open. In the past, some of them are not open, they're proprietary, they have their own design of the mid-haul, of the front haul and things like that. But in the Open RAN, they want to ensure that all of these things are open so that any hardware, any interface from different vendors can be interoperable. Okay, so ORAN introduced other components, particularly the different interfaces like the A1 interface, E2 interface, and then also there is an SMO, System Management and Orchestration. This one focuses more on the organization of the whole radio access networks for tasks that require a lot of processing, maybe introduce some AI, some machine learning. And then for the near real-time RIC, the one in the yellow block, this one focuses on the management of the radio access networks. Not only just a single radio access networks, it can also focus on the nodes from 4G, from 5G, and so on. Okay, but all the details of this one will be more discussed if ever you have a chance to enroll in our courses in Asia Open RAN Academy. Okay, and then finally, this is another way of looking at the architecture and the nodes presented by 3GPP and ORAN. So this one shows again the centralized unit, the distributed unit, and radio unit, and all the other interfaces that are important to interconnect all of these. And then how ORAN is connecting all of this is that they add other components, like what I have mentioned earlier, the near real-time RIC, the non-real-time RIC. All of these would enable to optimize and perhaps become more efficient the radio access networks. Okay, so don't worry, I will not go into detail in all of this, but just to give you an overview of how 3GPP and ORAN standards are actually melding together.